Hi everyone. Today we are working on FXGL 3D, particularly the Skybox feature that we're going to hopefully implement in this video. And to help me with this task, we've got Carl today joining us. Hi Carl.
Hi everybody. My name's Carl.
Yeah, would you like to introduce yourself, please?
Sure, I'm Carl D, and I work for Azul as a developer advocate, and I also work on occasionally on Fuji when I blog about things, mostly Java FX. But I'm very interested in hearing about your framework.
Nice. Let's see if we can get this implemented into the next version. So far the progress that we do have is this Skybox, which is like a bunch of images stitched together to give you a feel of as if there is a world around you, essentially. And what we want to be able to do is for people to customize it very easily. So through the API, which is hopefully going to be as simple as possible, we'll try to achieve this, which is the same thing that this is achieving in many lines of code. Yeah, we don't want the users to keep repeating this every time. So we'll try to come up with a simpler API.
So is this exactly like a 3D parallaxing in gaming?
Kind of,
So,
but without the overlay. There's just one layer of images. There are 6 images, and they form. So let me show an example. This one would be, yeah. So this is one image, for example, and it gives you one side of a cube. So there are 6 sides of a cube, and this is what Skybox essentially is. It's a cube map.
nice.
And we need to combine all of them together. So I'm going to try and get one of these samples duplicated into Skybox sample. And in here, I'll just remove the stuff that I don't need so that we can go from there. So we need a camera. We need to be able to exit the game. Don't need that, we don't need that, and don't need any of this stuff. We don't even need a background or any of this. So let's just try running this example, which doesn't have anything in it. This is our starting point. Can you see a window with nothing in it?
Yes.
Yeah.
So are we inside the world?
Yeah, we're
So
inside of a 3D world right now.
with no walls?
Yeah, with
No
nothing,
6 sides.
really. The scene wrap is essentially empty. So what I'm thinking to be aligned with the API that we have at the moment in FXGL, we're going to create an entity, a game object, to represent this Skybox. And that singular entity is going to contain all the 6 images to give us this notion of a world. So this is kind of me thinking from the user perspective. How does the user want to be able to use this? I'm thinking if I create a class called Skybox, then these 3 lines would allow the user to initialize their Skybox. So hopefully this is as simple as we can make it. Skybox goes inside this as a view for our entity, and the user is able to then also do things like set front, because there are 6 images. It's front, back, left, right, top and bottom. So there
Could
should
there be a Skybox Builder, possibly?
Yeah, actually, that's a really good idea because builders are used everywhere in FXGL because it's an entity builder and so on. So it will be something like Skybox Builder, front, back,
Back.
top, bottom, and then left, right, left, right, top, bottom, and build. And then if they need to, they can provide, so here they will provide the links to the images. So this thing takes a string or an image, depending on how they want to initialize it.
I also wonder, though, I'm wondering if there should be another API that just lists them. But then you might get the front and the back confused, if you had them swapped.
Yeah.
So
this seems like a good compromise between having too much and too little.
Right. Exactly.
And then the good news is FXGL can then load easily. So these are the images, and they're used in here. So I actually know which one's which from here. Right, so SK06 is front. So I can just take this and then use it in, wait, it's not this one. This is front. 857.
857.
8 goes here. 5 is left. 7 goes here. And we've got 2 more, which are 10 and 02. Bottom is 10 and 02 is there. So from the user code, I think we've done most of the work. This is how they would...
I had a question, if you don't mind. The actual sides that the sky is built and when they're stitched together, how did you actually draw them? Or
okay, that's a very good question. I wonder if we should allow the user to be able to do some kind of settings, configurations, because yeah, that will depend. That will depend on the actual size of the texture that they're using. So we do need a way to take this information in somehow. So
like a config, a Skybox config or something.
Yeah, so this is actually 1024 by 1024, the image. So what we could use something like this for now. Skybox Builder, and then you provide the image size, I guess. That could work for now.
Is that is that the way each one has to be the same size?
I would assume so, yeah. Or at least for the first version of the implementation, I'm going to make that as a constraint. Like all images have to be the same size. That will simplify the problem.
Nice, nice.
So we've got our Skybox Builder and we've got our Skybox thing. So we need 2 classes. They're going to go into... There's a lot of stuff. Where do I find Scene 3D? Yeah, there it is. So new class, Skybox Builder. And we'll need, I'll just have both classes in the same file for now, because they're pretty much related. Skybox. So what do you normally use for custom nodes?
Custom nodes?
I guess I can go for...
Well,
group in this case?
Groups sometimes.
Yeah, I think in this case, group could work because I'm thinking essentially we have, what, 6 textures, and these 6 textures are going to be added as children. So I could essentially make this something like front. This is the image, back, image. So Skybox is going to be created from the Skybox Builder, which means we can have a more domain specific type in here. So left, which is why I'm using image rather than string. Top and bot. And then using these, creating an image view out of them is going to be super simple, because it's just going to be adding them to children of this group.
Well, Kotlin really makes it clean.
Yeah, it simplifies quite a bit.
So in the future, just say I'm the user of the API, and I go to change the sky, like say dark, like the moon, or would it then be like in the future? Would it be easy to swap out those 6 images, or what do you think?
Well, the API takes the images as a string. Well, you could take it as an image or a string to where the image is located. So all you need to do is change the image.
Ah, nice.
And you can dynamically modify them as well, because they're images. You can actually draw to them if you wanted to, like draw directly into an image.
Oh, like the writable.
Yeah,
image.
exactly.
Nice. Wow, you could do particle effects in the sky.
Yeah, that could be quite interesting, actually.
Reminds me of those drones. Thousands of drones flying in the sky.
Yeah, that could be interesting. They would be overwriting some of the pixels of the Skybox. What we could do potentially is have one Skybox as an original one, and then draw a second one on top of it, and then modify the second one.
Like double buffering.
Yeah, kind of.
It's kind of like a movie projector into the sky.
Yeah,
that would be interesting.
More or less. Yeah, there are so many opportunities. I'm actually quite excited now to try out some of them.
Yeah. But yeah, that would be cool. Like if you had a scene where you would see, white clouds, and then later you would see, the dark sky with, gray clouds or something.
Like modifiable view of the sky. That could be quite interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so that is kind of the infrastructure. Now, how do we get all of this information inside? Well, the user provides it with all of this stuff.
Need a simple utility function to take that string and and turn it into an image.
Yeah, that'll work. So this is width and height of the image, of all of the images, because they're going to be identical in size. And we need one function for each of those things, like front, image. image, let's call it image name, I guess. That's the string that this class takes, and then we'll need to convert it into an image and then store it here so that we can then pass it into this Skybox constructor.
Is there a proxy? Is there an ability to proxy functions?
What do you mean?
Like in proxy handlers in Java, I think it's like more like kind of like reflection, where you can intercept a function that, and you can do pre and post invocations of it. So you can, the inbound is a string. You can actually take it, convert it into an image before it hits the actual function.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure like Ruby does it, Java does it, but it's not so easy. But you can take a function and literally wrap it, so it can proxy that function. It's called Proxy Handler, I believe, or Invocation Handler.
Yeah, I seem to remember something similar. At some point, I needed to have a runtime object that implements an interface. I think I had to use something to do with proxies, possibly.
Yeah, it's too advanced. I don't think it's needed, but
yeah, anything to do with reflection, I actually try to minimize because that comes with a cost usually.
Yeah, and it gets to be hard to maintain. If you change or add a function, it may not be in the context that it's good to design with an interface in Java, and then you use the proxy handlers. But it's there's always a cost when you play with reflection because
indeed, yeah, that is true.
With dynamic stuff.
Yeah, for now I'll just go with the most straightforward solution, which is just a copy paste.
Absolutely, and it's only 6 sides, so
yep.
It's not worth.
Yeah,
it's excellent.
Left, right, and top and bottom. So that actually should do it. And then all of that just goes inside in the correct order.
Well, Kotlin's clean.
Yeah, it's all right. I need to think about nullability issues potentially, because you see, I had to use null here because I don't have an object to initialize this with at this point.
Gotcha.
I've loaded the object here, but it is still possible that these references are null.
Images.
Which is why I need the double exclamation mark saying it is not null, but I actually could be null. That's the problem. So what I might do is just set these to some kind of a dummy image, actually. Okay. Oh, right, I forgot about that. I implemented dummy image at some point, so I can just do this.
But what if is the dummy image? Oh, this just prevents the error. But oh, that's a good idea. Nice.
It's actually an image. Like it will draw an empty image with nothing inside it, more or less. And I can now tell the Kotlin compiler that it is never null.
Nice.
So it just simplifies the syntactical bits. Okay, so these are done.
Does the width and the height matter, or no?
I'm not using it at any point at the moment, but I will have to, because I played around with it. You can see I tried to do something in the prototype in here on the left.
Gotcha.
We also need to rotate some images. I think we're at the position where we can actually run something. So this is saying back. Oh, we also need to return Skybox Builder itself.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah,
an
because it's a
instance
builder.
of
Yeah.
return this.
Now, I remember there's an easier way to do this. I think it's something like that. This, also this. Yeah, this works.
Wow.
So we're saying we're returning this, but before you return this, also do this.
But does it do that after the fact? That's interesting.
I can even
Return
give it
this.
the type.
Wow, that's neat. That is so cool. Okay. I have to play with Kotlin more.
It is pretty
And I
cool.
get the
There are some bits where Kotlin is not as good as Java, particularly when it comes to interface. They've been improving though. Like the Kotlin interfaces are got better. Right, so this thing should compile now. Right? Oh, let's just call it bot. Yeah, there we go. So this thing actually compiles. Let's give it a go. So we're going to end up seeing 6 images, and they're not in any kind of particular order. They're just there because we haven't really positioned them.
and rotated them.
Yeah, so we can see an image. It's a big image. It's just there.
So what is the... Okay. I'm trying to figure out why don't I see sky though?
Because it's an image that's located at 0, 0, 0. And all 6 images are in the same place because we haven't put them anywhere.
Oh, I see. That's neat. So you are actually moving the images where they need to be. So they're basically like walls.
Yeah, they are like walls. And they're going to be moved locally to this group, because the group is the parent and these are the children, which means I can then move the Skybox object as a thing without messing up the wall positions.
So is there another idea of, I think I've heard of it before, but like a sky dome? Like, I'm not sure if you have to stretch
I've heard
the
that before
image
too.
to make it...
I don't quite know if it's the same thing as Skybox. Possibly not, I don't know. I'll have to check.
Sure. I thought maybe like a mesh can be applied around the sphere.
That might be it, because at this point currently we're not actually doing anything 3D related. We're just using 2D in a 3D space.
Really?
Yeah, so far we actually haven't done anything 3D-ish even. We don't have a mesh even at this point.
Gotcha.
They're literally image view, like your normal 2D image view stuff that you would draw to the screen, and we're just drawing it in a 3D space. If we do it with correct dimensions, it will create an illusion as if the world is almost like endless.
And it's pretty efficient. You know, it's just 2D images. That's good.
So what we need to do is apply these values. I've been playing around with some of them. I don't know if all of them are correct, but they seem to do the trick. So the front one obviously needs to move forward by this value. I don't know how I got to this value, but I'll try to hard code it now, see if it works. If it works, I need to figure out why that value specifically.
When you say forward, are you talking about the z-axis?
Yeah.
Coming towards the viewer?
Away from the viewer. Because
gotcha.
forward Z in JavaFX is forward, I think.
Gotcha. Back, further away.
Yeah. So this is the view. It's the view that I need to change, because image is just the data. So it's this thing, this view that I need to change, which I can do immediately from here because it's Kotlin.
Nice.
It said
Oh my goodness.
translate Z.
It's like you could prototype immediately with
Yeah, you can do a
Kotlin's.
lot of stuff with
That's so
Kotlin. That's
nice.
one of the reasons I like it.
And then you could refactor it later and just build the API the way you want it. That's really cool. Dot also.
Right, so this is that. The front one is super easy because it's the 2D image. You just move it away from you in the forward direction. With back, we need to rotate it because if you think about how all the images are getting drawn to the screen, they're all 2D images and they're all kind of in front of you, which is why the forward one is so easy. You just move it forward. Whereas everything else, like the back one, if we just moved it backwards, it wouldn't work because it needs to be also flipped. Do you know what I mean?
When you mean flipped, horizontally flipped?
Along the y-axis.
Oh yeah. Oh yes, exactly. Because in the 3D world, you're turning your body around, looking at it reversed. Exactly.
Yeah. So
really cool.
I'm not going to do the rotation now and then see how this works. So we moved the front one forwards and we've moved the back one backwards. So let's try running this and then see if this made any change.
Oh, neat.
And then we'll try to do the rotation. So we moved. It's tiny. Can you see it at the back?
Yeah. So this one is the forward one.
This is probably
front.
back because when you spawn in the game, you're looking in the Z direction.
I see.
And the forward we don't actually see. I think it's somewhere further along.
It's hidden from the other ones.
Yeah.
The ones stacked in the group.
Yeah. So because it's so small, I think I did scaling by 32. So I will try to do the same here. To do scale differently or something, because I don't know if this should be the approach, but it seems to work. First of all, I'm going to smooth the scaling, which I don't know if it does anything. Smoothing, what does smoothing do? It smooths the image for scaling purposes, but is it applied to what we're doing? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
And then
I thought it has to do with just...
Yeah, so I'm going to disable these so that we can see only the front and the back.
Cool.
Right, so this is the front. It's now super big. It occupies quite a lot of the viewport. Looks nice. And we've got the back one, which is this one.
That's really good.
And now we need to do a few rotations to make sure everything works correctly. So
you haven't flipped yet.
Yeah. So the rotation axis on this one is the y-axis because we're rotating along y, and we're just flipping it so it's 180.
Nice.
And then let's do the left and right. So left is we're moving it well, to the left, so along the x-axis, I presume. Left, yeah, we move it by minus t. So x is minus t, so it's to the left. And we rotate it. We rotate it along the y-axis, it seems, by minus 90. The left and right are going to be rotated along the y-axis because it's just half of what we just did for the back one. And then the right one is actually the same thing, but the opposite way. It's plus 90 and plus translation. Okay, let's do left and right. So we should now see a cube with no top or bottom. So if I just do left constantly,
that's nice.
It looks really cool. But
yeah, it's very cool.
But as soon as I look up, the immersion is going to be broken.
There's no
There's no sky. Or ground, for that matter.
You could have people peering into it like a box.
Yeah. No, I really like this illusion. Like, this is so simple because it's 2D, but it gives you this immersion.
I love it. It's super awesome.
Let's just finish off the top one, which is pretty much the same thing, but we rotate along a different axis. And we translate Y now, not X, because it goes, we just move the image to the top. And top in JavaFX is minus. Yeah, because it's from minus to plus. Rotation axis is X, because we're flipping along this line, the X line, and I guess the rotation, we just keep it as 90, and we do the opposite for the bottom, because it's exactly the same thing, the rotation happens in a different direction. And translation is plus, because we're moving it to the, we're moving it down, should be bot.
Bot.
Yeah, this works. Yeah, this looks really nice.
That's cool. So the distance of T is how much? Do you know?
Well,
exactly.
I used the original image data, which is width and height. I multiplied by the same value that I use for scaling purposes, and I halved it because you need to move the thing away from you by only half the distance. Because if you think about it, in order to form a proper cube, you can only move it by this value. So it's kind of a fixed value, I would have thought.
Interesting.
For example, if we have something like imagine this is the left side of the front image, and this is the right side of the front image. And together they occupy the whole space in front of you.
Oh, based on the pixels, yeah.
Yeah, and you can only, well, the back is going to be exactly the same. It's 1, 2. But in between them, you can only have something like, I'm trying to do a kind of vertical one. Yeah. Imagine this is a vertical representing 1/2 of the left side, and this is 1/2 of the right side. I think this is how I got to the point where I need to divide by 2. Because you can only move it away from you, and you're here in the middle. Like the dot is you. Which gives you this half space kind of thing. It can't be any other different value, because otherwise the dimensions don't work in exactly the same way. So we need exactly half of the size of the image in front of you, in the back, at the top and at the bottom, so that they all form a cube together. I think there is a mathematical underpinning to this. I just got there from intuition rather than from maths.
Sure, sure.
Which actually means that we do need dimension in here somewhere. So all the images, or rather take the dimension first. I wonder if this also means that you can only have the same size textures for width and height. So both width and height have to be the same size. Oh, Cal's been disconnected temporarily, I think. You right there?
I'm back.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you. Yeah, it has bad network quality, which is something that I definitely am aware of, because my internet is not great, which is one of the reasons why I don't do live streams. Because otherwise everything is going to be like one frame per couple of seconds. Right, so this is width and this is height. So what I'm thinking is, because we've identified that we actually do need width and height somehow into this, I'm just going to add a to-do here saying use both width and height, and for now I'll just use the width because I know it's 1024. Width multiplied by 32. I don't know where this came from. I think I just used a big enough value. So this 32 thing needs to be figured out to do y32. And I definitely know it needs to be divided by 2 because of the logic I just described. And we can pass width and height over here, because we keep this information in the builder. Right, so that should give us... Yeah.
During the building phase, when you say build, doesn't each image have, maybe it can have some validation if...
Yeah, we could do.
Each image has its own width and height, so I'm just wondering if they're all the same, then maybe it doesn't need to be specified. I don't know. Just ideas. I'm just throwing them out.
Yeah, we could do checks, I suppose, for once we got the image. But generally speaking, I would have thought we kind of, by definition of a skybox, need exactly the same size.
Oh, I see.
Because it's a cube, right? A cube map. A cube is not a cuboid, so a cube has exactly the same dimensions, well, in terms of size of each panel of a cube. So I'm guessing it's kind of built into the concept itself.
Gotcha. Oh, I see what you mean. You're talking about the cube itself, not the actual image dimension.
Yeah, because these images together form a cube. Or they kind of have to. Otherwise, I don't think the illusion is going to work.
Sounds nice.
Right, so that is the initial implementation, which is, I think, more or less done. From the user's perspective, this is all they need to do. Just provide the 6 different images. And then specify the actual size of a single image, and then everything else is kind of built in for them. And that should do it, I think. Anything else I might be missing here?
Looks good as far as I can tell. Yeah, let's run it again.
Because
check it out.
yeah, because I think I'm happy to commit this as one kind of as version 1 of this.
Nice.
Yeah, the whole thing just looks really nice. I mean, we could kind of, as a last thing, we could add a cube in there, just an animated cube or something.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Just cube entity. So entity builder, new cuboid 222, build and attach. We're not actually spawning in the center, the cube is. So here it is, our cube.
That's nice.
It's quite interesting. It kind of gives you an interesting sort of, almost like modeling software type thing, feel.
It looks like Borg just is visiting Earth. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, and maybe make it jump or something. Just do something. We can, yeah. Let's do translation from where it currently is. Yeah, position 3D and. Sorry.
Is it easy to rotate it? Just spinning.
Oh yeah, that'll do. We'll just do rotations. Rotate from. So we want to do rotations along the y-axis. So it's 0, 0, 0, and this value needs to go to 360. Build and play, and make the duration reasonably long. So something like, no, not minutes, but let's do seconds. 20 seconds. So yeah, animations are super easy to build with FXGL.
Yeah. I like it. I like the cuboid. It's like FXGL. It's you give the user base objects, right? You can actually create really easy.
It's spinning slowly, but it's spinning.
Is this an OBS problem?
Yeah, the slowness is the network problem, because my internet is slow. But in terms of rendering, it should be fine. It's no longer spinning because I didn't specify how many times to rotate. So it's just doing one cycle of the animation and then stopping.
Gotcha.
We can say auto reverse, and we can say something like repeat infinitely.
Nice.
So it's going to spin. I'll do a 20-second spin to one side, and then I'll do a spin to the other side, or it'll flip its rotation. So yeah, animation-wise, there's quite a lot of stuff that can be easily built into this. And now it's spinning the other way around.
That's so nice. I like it. We're like in a world. We're floating.
Yeah, indeed. Okay. On that note, I think we are done in terms of implementation of Skybox. I'm going to commit it at some point. And I'll also add your email as well. If you can send me your GitHub email, I add you as co-author of the commit, since we both did it. And
awesome.
We'll go from there.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me, and we should do this more often. I really like that it's like online hacking here. It's really fun.
Indeed, yeah, I really enjoyed that too. I always like having someone there as well watching, because pair programming is awesome. You can easily spot mistakes early on,
Yeah.
and they're very easy to fix then. Okay, cool. Thanks for watching, everyone, and we'll see everyone later.